A brand new season of the Bridgestone GR86 Championship is underway. Race 1 not too far away here at the Taupo International Motorsport Park as part of the Next Gen New Zealand Championship presented to you by Repco. There is genuinely a lot of excitement about this, but who got pole first time around? Here he is. Hayden, congratulations. First pole position in the GR86 Championship brought to you by Bridgestone. How does that feel?
Yeah, it feels amazing. The car, the compound of the tyre, felt really good to be out there at Taupo, and yeah, just great to start off the season on a strong.
It must be quite good because Hugo Allen's been leading the way all through practice sessions. You go and bump one, and you banked it, then sat and waited. Why was that?
Well, these tyres, they're the quickest in the first sort of 2 laps, and that's where you're going to put in your fastest time. So I did my first 2 laps, and then after then, the tyres just fade away. So there's not much point being out there and using up the tyre.
And the new GR86, what do you make of it?
Yeah, it's an awesome car to drive. All the cars are just the same spec, and that's what makes great racing, and that's why we want to be a part of the series.
Can you convert? Convert pole to win?
Absolutely.
Hayden Backera says it was in the mix for the whole 3 practices, Ronan Murphy, but the thing is, Hugo Allen was the hot one to try, and everybody's going, oh, well, he's going to roll through, but he's what, 2/10 per hour?
Yeah, the top sort of few cars there, you know, the top 5 separated by only a couple of tenths. Backera took the pole. Josh Bethune, a former top karter, he's in second there on the front row. Obviously, Hugo Allen, our pace setter from practice, he's there in third, so he's going to be one to watch, and Zach Blinko there in fourth is going to be hot on the heels.
Let's talk about Josh Bethune, because he's running under the right karts, which is being run by Mark Pilcher at M2 Competition, which is probably the big team when it comes to CT Frock. But P2, first run, you're going to watch him.
Yeah, and clearly, yeah, Mark Pilcher's engineering that car, so they've done a great job, and they're off the front row. But there's also going to be some guys, you know, a bit further back that are going to be ones to watch. You know, Blake Knowles, the reigning Formula Ford champion, he's down in 18th, so he's going to be looking to make some moves and try and move up.
You know, it's hard not to look at Chris White Jr. and go, the current Next Gen Mazda Tyre Racing Series champion is going to be in the mix.
Yeah, he's going to be wanting to move forward as well. He's there in 5th, so he's still in that top 5 at the front there, and hopefully going to be trying to avoid any sort of riff-raff further back. But no, he's going to be looking to move forward, and I'm sure he's going to have the speed to do it.
I'm also really impressed with what Alice Buckley did, P10. She went out there, she had that same strategy as Cormac Murphy, and she came out and just put down a solid lap.
Yeah, and she was actually the top Race Lab car. So Race Lab were one of the really strong teams from last season. So they've obviously got a little bit of work to do with just in tuning the drivers and tuning the cars, but they'll be looking to move forward.
Okay,
as well.
just before we get a head up to Richard Crail, these bright, shiny new cars are going out there. If you're an owner, how nervous are you about maybe turn 1 and turn 5?
I think there's going to be a few nervous team owners, aka mums and dads. So let's see how it goes.
But the one thing you know about the Bridgestone GR86 Championship, it is all on, Richard Crail. This is fun, and honestly, I got goosebumps.
Likewise, Stephen, this field is extraordinarily competitive. 18 cars covered by 1 second in qualifying. It was even closer than that in practice yesterday, and there's so much to come out of this. Little update for you, 35-degree track temperature at the moment. Ambient beautiful, about 16 or 17 degrees. Not a lot of direct sunlight on the circuit. So these are perfect conditions for motorsport. Really looking forward to what should be an unbelievable race. Blockbuster championship ahead, and some of the names that have come out of this series have been spectacular and are really making their name in global motorsport. Supercars, international open wheel racing, Porsches, whatever it might be. Watch these names because they could be there in a couple of years. So it's 20-year-old Hayden Backera who starts this one from pole position. Josh Bethune on the outside of the front row. Hugo Allen was the pace setter in practice, but starts from the inside of row 2 in this one. Zach Blinko, Chris White and Justin Allen out of 5 and 6. Cooper Barnes across from Australia is next out of 7th. Alice Buckley did a little alternate strategy in qualifying, ran late, starts this one in 10th position. Thomas Mallard next. John Penny leading the way in the Masters class, as competitive and as feisty as always, alongside teenager Jet Murray, another one of the 3 Australians racing this weekend. Hayden Lyons and AJ Giddy, Mason Potter. Blake Knowles in the 888 car. Simon Hunter and Cormac Murphy struggled a little bit in qualifying, goes out of 20th position. Raymond Mallon next. Harry Townsend, Will Morton, Caleb Byers and Christina Orr West will start this one from the back of the field. 25 brand new GR86s running brand new Bridgestone Potenza RE71 tyres. This is a Control-Alt-Delete for this championship, but the same story will emerge and that it will produce great racing. Ronan Murphy has charged up from the lane because you wouldn't miss the start of this one for the world. A brand new championship about to start, Ronan, and it has blockbuster potential written all over it.
Oh, I can't wait for this one, Richard. It's, yeah, lining up to be one of the most popular races of the day, and obviously watching all these bright young talents and some older talents as well. Let's not forget them, but no, it's lining up to be an absolute pearler of a race, and yeah, we're not far away from lights out.
So Hayden Baccaris is 19 from Auckland. Josh Bethune, 21 years of age, is a driver, engineer, a karting instructor. So wildly competitive as always. Ready for a start. It's a brand new era for the GR86 Championship with Bridgestone on board. And it's a great start from the outside of the front row for Hayden Baccaris, who's going to fight and fight to get the race lead into turn one. But the right kart's entry can't quite get there. And they'll battle through turn 2 and 3. Side by side behind Blinko, Alan White, and Alan in there as well. They'll get themselves single file as they run down towards turn 4. It's a snake of Toyotas sorting themselves out. The big braking zone still side by side, but good clean start, Ronan, everyone through.
Yeah, and how great's that, just watching a big group of cars going too wide all the way up through the staircase, up through the elevation change. As we go down to turn 7 there, we can see Arthur Braun trying to go around the outside of the number 30 there of Emerson Vincent.
Yeah, good pass for Brian. Gets the pass done. They're still side by side behind John Penny and Thomas Mallard having a good battle. Penny with his elbows out, as always, on the outside through the sweeper, just slots in behind at turn 9. And now it's that run up to the hairpin as they get to the big braking zone at turn 10.
Yeah, and Thomas Mallard and John Penny are still arguing over that position there. Mallard went up the inside of Penny there, and Penny's just managed to get back ahead of him, so good move there. And Alice Buckley there in the number 50 car, she's making good progress. She gives Emerson Vincent a little rub up on the side there.
And Brian just in behind those two, so he's lost a couple of spots. This is the long run down to turn 12, big braking zone. And the leaders navigate that nicely. It's all single file now. They sort themselves out. They've got 8 laps to go at the end of this one to decide the first race winner in a brand new season for Bridgestone GR86. But at the end of lap 1, it's Hayden Baccaris who leads Josh Bethune. Hugo Allen, the fastest car on the racetrack. He's up a spot already. Zach Blinko down 1. Chris White, Justin Allen, Cooper Barnes, Alice Buckley up a couple of spots from 10th to 8th. Emerson Vincent 2 and Bromham down to 10th position. John Penny 11th and first of the Masters.
And I'd say probably out of all the biggest movers and shakers there, Cormac Murphy's actually moved up into 14th. So he's made 6 spots on that opening lap, and good progress there from the number 81 Penny Holmes car.
Aggressive opening laps. He's definitely a Murphy. I like it. Good charging. He's got Jet Murray from Oz just in front of him at the moment as well. Cooper Murray, the supercars driver for Erebus, his younger brother making his debut racing in New Zealand. That's him in the middle of the shot, actually, in the Lodge Brothers car. Mason Potter with the Pizza Hut sponsorship, just a couple of spots behind. And that's the thing with GR86. There are going to be battles for 19th and 20th, as competitive as the battle for the race lead will inevitably be.
Yeah, and as we look there, actually, our international compatriots have actually closed up together. So Cooper Barnes and Alice Buckley there, our Australians from over the ditch there in 7th and 8th there, with Jet Murray not too far behind in 13th. As we run through the field, you know, you've got obviously Hayden Baccaris, he's maintained the lead off the start, so he's done a great job. Josh Bethune and Hugo Allen there in 2nd and 3rd, Zach Blinko in 4th. So the top 5's actually stayed virtually the same from the start. So those guys have kept it real tidy, and as the field sort of starts to spread out a little bit, as everyone settles into their rhythm, it's going to be really interesting to see who's worked on a really good race car and has got the car that can last the distance.
Well, and the other thing, Ronan, is they're sailing into the unknown here, because we're 3 laps now, starting the 3rd lap into a race where no one knows how this Bridgestone tyre is going to perform over a race distance in wheel-to-wheel conditions. You can test and test and test, but there's nothing like actual racing. So they're learning, they're understanding how the tyre is going to perform, how this brand new car performs over a race distance. So this is all completely unknown for everybody in the field.
100%, and Josh Bethune's actually got a really good run up through the staircase there. He's closed right up to the race leader, Hayden Baccaris, so he's clearly got the car pretty dialed at that section there, and he was obviously really fast in qualifying on the front row, and Hugo Allen's starting to go with him a little bit. So the top 3 are just starting to break away a little bit from 4th and 5th, and then quite a big gap back to 6th place of Justin Allen.
Here is Josh Bethune, 21 years of age from Whitford. He's got a really interesting background out of go-karting and junior circuit racing. A little bit older than some of the many teenage rivals that he's got in here, but maybe that experience just helping him as well as he puts the pressure on Hayden Baccaris in this battle for the race lead. And Baccaris looks a little bit under pressure now in the braking zone up here into the hairpin. Hugo Allen watching on. Hugo, the quickest guy throughout all of the 3 practice sessions yesterday, struggled to get a lap in qualifying, still ended up third, so not bad by any account. But he's right in the mix, and then Zach Blinko and Chris White rounding out the top 5.
Yeah, as we could actually see there, Richard, up the top there at turn 11, there's a couple of different lines you can take through that corner to try and maximise your run onto the straight. And Baccaris ran that quite defensive. Bethune was actually the same, and Hugo Allen probably ran it a little bit wider than the other two because obviously having a little bit of breathing room behind him, he can afford to run a bit more of a racing line rather than a defensive line. As we see there, Baccaris is actually moving to the inside, so he's really feeling the pressure from Josh Bethune in the 32. Hugo Allen's, he looked for had a bit of a sniff there down at turn 1. And as we watch through here, watching up the staircase, Bethune's car was really strong through there the last couple of laps, and again, he's gotten a really good run, so we could potentially be on for a sniff down at turn 5 here as they come over the curb there at turn 4, monstering over there in the GR86s.
It's a big move to get it done down the inside of turn 5. It's what they call in the industry a full send, but it can be done. But what this has done as well, Ronan, is bring in Zach Blinko and Chris White. So this is now a 5-car battle for the lead. So the 18-year-old in 4th place, who's a graduate from New Zealand Formula Ford Racing, has got himself to the back of this leading group, and he's brought Chris White along for the ride. So it's now 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and Baccaris' car was wide at 9. It looks like he's struggling a little bit with exit there, and it's making him vulnerable. And now there's an opportunity for Bethune to try and find a way past, but watch for Hugo Allen, who gets the nose up the inside. It's for 2nd position. Could it even be for the race lead, potentially?
And that's experience right there. Hugo Allen, he's actually a previous race winner in the previous generation car here at this racetrack. So he knew exactly what he was doing there, put the car in the right spot, blocked the apex for Josh Bethune on the exit there, and he's going to have the inside coming down here towards turn 12.
It's a braking battle down here into the left-hander, get the curb on the inside, and he gets the spot on the inside as well. So Hugo Allen, who a couple of years away from the top-level national racing, but back with a bang this weekend. We talked about his pace early in the weekend. His race pace is strong too. And now Zach Blinko is going to have a look down the inside on the right karts by M2 competition. Cool to see M2 expanding again and continuing their role, but linking up with the right karts organisation to put 4 cars on the grid this weekend. Hugely competitive team.
Yeah, running 1 or 2 of these cars is a mammoth effort in itself. So to be running 4, they're doing a brilliant job. And what that pass actually did, as we can see, is it's actually given Hayden Baccaris just a little bit of breathing room, enough time just to sort of maybe calm the nerves a little bit, sort of relax and try and get back into a rhythm, and he's going to just be wanting to try and pull away from that angry pack of 4 GR86s behind him, because we've really seen the top 5 have actually broken away from everybody else. Justin Allen's leading the next pack of cars in the number 99 Napa car for Syndicate Motorsport. So you can see there, they're coming up towards the A1 corner, turn 9, and Baccaris he's going to be doing everything he can to try and drive away from Hugo Allen.
That all started at turn 9, didn't it? Because Baccaris, it almost looked like he had a moment at 9 at that really fast right-hand corner. But by the fact he was slow, it opened up Bethune for being overtaken. As we go back and have a look at this battle. So this is Jet Murray and Cormac Murphy having a really good fight. So Cormac's actually got the spot. He passed Jet Murray this lap. So he was defending there, having just taken what will be 13th position away.
Yeah, based on where he was defending, it looks like he's probably gotten the move done at turn 7, and then he's just obviously been down a little bit on speed, so it would have been a bit harder to get on the power there. Jet Murray actually might have an issue because he's just lost a spot down the straight to Mason Potter, maybe a missed gear, but as we can see now, the leader's coming back onto the front straight, and Hugo Allen's carved that gap down on Hayden Baccaris. I was talking to him before the race, Richard, and he said, you know, I was a little bit disappointed with qualifying. It was especially after the day they had yesterday. I think he was really expecting to be on pole. But what he did say is that they've been working really hard on their race car, trying to find a consistency to make the car last and just keep belting out those laps over those 8 laps. And he's really showing that at the moment because he's certainly decreased that gap on Hayden Baccaris.
Yeah, change of position as well. Chris White has got past Zach Blinko, so 4th and 5th place. So there's a bit of South Island working into this battle as well. The 17-year-old from Christchurch has got himself a spot and climbs up to 4th position. So I wonder if he can now go after this leading trio. It's closing down. Hugo Allen is closing in on the race lead.
The 88 cars, Chris White Jr., obviously the Tony Quinn Foundation scholarship winner. So I'm sure the group will be happy to see him doing so well and up near the front there as he chases down Josh Bethune in the car run by James Marshall Motorsport.
Baccaris is struggling at 9. It's his absolute weakness on the lap at the moment, and he was lucky that the battle ended up behind him earlier in the race.
John Penny's going for a move on Arthur Braun there, and he's done it. He's managed to get up the inside. Really good off. Oh, he's given him a bit of a door fall on the way through. He's ended up off the road, so that's JP for you. He's getting his elbows out. Great to see him having a crack.
You and I had a great chat with him last night at the big welcome function, the official launch for Next Gen New Zealand, and he was in very, very good spirits. Looking forward to getting the elbows out. I think that was a direct quote, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and look at that. That's someone with experience at this racetrack, JP. He's certainly done a few laps around here. That pretty much sums up John Penny's driving style in a nutshell. Fast and sideways. He's really had it hanging out there, but he got the spot, and it was as he obviously moves forward, charges on to try and catch up to he's now in the top 10, so chasing after Emerson Vincent.
Ronan, I'm just marking the date and time, so it was about 10 to 3 on a Saturday afternoon, first panel damage in a Bridgestone GR86 Cup race for the year. So we'll put that down, a firm door indentation there, but John Penny marches on, and the 22's up to 10th place and continues his march forward, leading the Masters Cup as well, the race within a race.
Yeah, and as we look back out to the front, Josh Bethune there in the 32 car, he's actually had a bit of a resurgence. He's caught back up to the front too, and Hugo Allen's still working away on the rear bumper of Hayden Baccaris there in the lead. So it's about half a second between those two guys, and as they come through turn 9 again, that's where we sort of noted it looks to be Hayden Baccaris' weakness a little bit. He's gone defensive again, coming down towards turn 11, and let's wait to see what Hugo's going to do here.
It's a big send to go the long way around here, but it can mean you can sharpen the exit of the corner off and get better drive down this long straight. He has. So here we go. Baccaris is going to have to be super defensive down the long back straight.
And as you can see there, he's swerving across the track trying to break that toe. So the toe in cars with low horsepower and high horsepower is critical. So moving across the track like that, it's allowed, and he's just trying to prevent Hugo from getting a run coming up to turn 12.
It's allowed, but you do need to be careful because race control will look at that, and if you're too overly aggressive in defending your line, you can get a little wrap over the knuckles or worse, and that's part of the journey for these young drivers, learning their craft, learning how to race these cars. Not far to go in this one. What an opener it's been in the Toyotas, and Baccaris has got to hold on. Just a couple of Ks to get the first race win of the season. Hugo Allen second, so he passed his way. He got past Bethune to get there to third. Chris White and Zach Blinko next. Allen, Barnes, Buckley, really good start for Alice today. Up a couple of spots to 8th. Emerson Vincent and John Penny, we saw him fight his way into the top 10. Baccaris with a little bit of a margin, and Bethune coming back now at Hugo Allen in this battle for second. Half a lap to go.
Yeah, and I hope I'm not adding the old classic commentator's curse here, but it's been a really clean race up to this point. We've had maybe a couple of little tyre marks here and there on a couple of doors, but other than that, everyone's driven really, really well and really clean and precise overtakes.
Well, it's a long championship, a lot of racing to go.
Very true.
Not much point turning the thing into a canoe in the opening race of the season. Having said that, stranger things have happened in one-late racing like this.
And even there, we saw again down at turn 11, Baccaris tried a different line there. He wasn't under as much pressure from Allen, so he's gone a bit wider and tried to then V the corner off and get a good exit to try and prevent any sort of attack from Hugo coming down the back straight.
What a drive this has been. Hayden Baccaris, he's been under pressure the whole way through, but he's executed to perfection. And the first race winner in this brand new era for the Bridgestone GR86 Championship is Hayden Baccaris. He edges out Hugo Allen and Josh Bethune in a great race. What a way to start the championship. Look at this gaggle of cars across the line. That is about 6th down to 15th, all sitting on top of each other. Cormac Murphy ends up P13 there, so made good ground. Started 20th, up to 13th. That's a good return for race one.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be pretty happy with that. He made some really good passes and brought the car back home in one piece. But obviously, out the front there, those top 4 drivers, they ended up with a bit of a gap there, and I'm sure they're all going to take a lot out of that. And nice to see a clean, close race.
So Hayden Baccaris, who was 6th in the championship last year, had some strong results. Could he be the early favourite? Well, he's won the first race. He beat home Hugo Allen by just under a second, with Josh Bethune next. Great racing all the way through the field. Thoroughly enjoyed John Penny's work, as always, racing his way to 10th position. Thomas Mallard next. Cormac Murphy, as we said, was 13th. Jet Murray 15th at the end of that one. Blake Knowles in 19th position at the end, and AJ Giddy in 21st. Big field, 25 cars on the grid. They all got to the line, and they're all covered by 22 seconds at the end of 8 laps of really intense racing. So here's the highlights. Race 1 of the Bridgestone GR86 Championship for 2024-25. And it was feisty stuff down the inside at turn 1. And Bethune threw everything at it, didn't he, around the outside. He committed, to his credit, didn't pay off, but he had a red-hot go.
Yeah, and that's the hard thing about turn 1 down there. You know, if there's a bit of a concertina of cars, you can sometimes make it around the outside. But obviously, when you're at the front there, Hayden Baccaris wasn't going to give up that first spot easily, as we can see there. Beautiful pass from Hugo Allen. He prevented Josh Bethune from getting the apex, ran him a little bit wide on the exit there, and got up the inside.
And that battle would wage all the way down. It turned out to be a really key result. It decided 2nd and 3rd in the race. We love this. This was John Penny. Elbows out, bit of sideways. First little bit of panel damage for the season, and Arthur Bryan unfortunately ended up a little bit off the road and dropped a couple of spots as a result. Out in front, everything they threw at Hayden Baccaris, he fended off in that one. He was under pressure from go to woe, but over 8 laps, he's the first winner of a brand new season in Bridgestone GR86, and what a start.
Yeah, that was certainly was eventful, and just that really, you know, that race really summed up what close racing is. You know, nose to tail, bit of door-to-door action, but everyone was obviously pushing really hard. And yeah, as we can see there, Hayden Baccaris, he comes out as the inaugural race winner of the GR86 Cup.
Had 2 podiums in last year's championship, so what a way to start the brand new season, to open your account with a win for Mackenzie Motorsport. They put together a really good program, and that's a great top 3. Of course, it all gets mixed up a little bit for tomorrow for race 2, so the grid gets jumbled, and then we decide it all for the weekend at race 3 at the end of it. But there is young Hayden, who will celebrate with his team, think about things overnight, give the car a little tune-up, and get it set to go for race 2 tomorrow. Well, great start. There's some really good stories to emerge out of the Bridgestone GR86 Championship, but it's a great tick in the box so far. I tell you what, Stephen McIver, if that is the scene of things to come, we're in for a great summer.
Well, how about this, Richard Crowell? Drama in race 1. We saw Josh Bethune cross the line in 3rd place, but got pinged a penalty for a jump start. So Chris White Jr. picks up 3rd place in the first race of the Bridgestone GR86 Championship. Bonus.
Yeah, it's definitely a bonus on that one. I can't thank the James Marshall crew enough. They're going to be an outstanding race car. It's a shame that Josh got a bit of a penalty, but he always finished 3rd on track. I can't thank Tony Quinn and Pack and Save for everything they've done to get me here. It's just awesome.
Just quickly, the step up from being a Mazda Series champion now into the Bridgestone GR86 Championship.
I think the Mazdas was perfect for this. They're a very similar car, one make series, so it taught me all my crafts and skills that I need to be able to come into the 86 and get some good results. So can't thank these series enough for everything they did for me.
Well done, mate. Go get ready for the podium. In 2nd place was Hugo Allen. Hugo was the form horse, you might say, all the way through practice. Couldn't quite get that #1 spot, but you get #2. You pick a place up. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I think that's really positive for the rest of the weekend. We know that we've got some good race pace now, maybe not the 1-lap pace, but we know that we can extract some speed from it. And Toddy and Ian at IMAC and Big Sport do an amazing job with these cars, and yeah, they had it set up perfectly for me.
Just briefly, the Bridgestone tyre, does it have a window, or is it okay through the 8 laps?
Felt perfect through the 8 laps. I mean, I was catching Hayden, but look, he did a good job in quali, and track position matters a lot in these cars, and probably quite a lot of this track as well. It's quite hard to pass, so he did a good job.
All right, get over there for the podium. Now, where's our race winner, Hayden Baccaris? Hayden Baccaris trying to do 3 things at once. Well done, mate. Congratulations. Put yourself on the spot there. Pole win. How does that feel?
Perfect. Couldn't have had a better start to our season. Massive thanks to our team, McKinsey Motorsport. They've done so much for me this week, and I wouldn't be here without them.
And the car itself, in race mode, in the real deal, how did it feel?
Pretty nerve-wracking having all those cars behind me. But no, over the race, the car felt really good throughout the whole thing, and yeah, feeling comfortable in it now.
Okay, go get ready to stand on the top step, mate. Okay, it's time now for the first official podium of the season for the Bridgestone GR86 Championship. Race 1, round 1 here at the Taupo International Motorsport Park. And trophies today will be presented by Jeremy McIntosh, the head of sales for Bridgestone New Zealand. And in third place, please welcome up Chris White Jr. In second place, welcome back to the championship, Hugo Allen. And your race 1 winner in round 1. It was a lights to flag victory for Hayden Baccaris. There it is, folks, your official podium for race 1, round 1 of the Bridgestone GR86 Championship.